so you're going to have to actually remove some of the skin. So you can either use scalpel or you can use your scissors to get up in there and free up the skin. You're going to go all the way up to the chin. So you see how I've gone all the way up to the chin like that? Now, in addition to that, you're going to then take the skin from the chin, go back this way towards the ear. So you want to go this way across the chin, the ear, and then head to the back of the head. Okay? So I tend to prefer to use scissors because scissors allow for me to do a lot more than scalpel. Because a scalpel is more of a sharp blade, but it cuts so quickly and you can't really control it well enough to get like intricate cuts. So I'm not really happy with using it myself unless I actually have to really cut through something really thick. So I prefer to actually use my scissors to cut. You can see how I spread it open. Just go in and I open it up like that with the scissors, and then I make my incision like that. And just cut like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut along the scissors, like with the scissors like this on the skin. You can see that. And see, I've already revealed that. I'll come up here and I'll make my incision here. Here. Yeah. See that I've opened that up, heading towards the back of the head, and then you're going to do that on both sides. And then once you get towards the back of the head, you're going to go all the way towards the back here, like behind the ear, and come back this way. Okay? Now, once you've done that, what you're going to then do is you're going to have to clean up the fascia. See all this white stuff? It kind of looks spider webby like. Let me move this out of the way. See? That's why you got to cut it out of the way. So you kind of see how it's kind of like a web-like material. See that?
And what is it called? Fascia?
And that's just fascia right there. And so we want to get rid of this fascia because it sits right on top of the muscle. So we want to get rid of it so we can actually see the muscles. So now you have to be careful because you don't want to cut too deep because you might end up cutting away muscles or structures that are important to identify. You know, so for instance, you can see that there's a blood vessel right there. And I want to be able to visibly see that blood vessel because that is what's called the transverse jugular. And the transverse jugular is actually an interesting structure unique to animals like cats and dogs. So humans, for instance, have two jugulars. There's an internal jugular and an external jugular. This happens to be the internal jugular right here for the cat. Our internal jugular is very large. In fact, it runs along our side of our neck. So when people, like, you know, you ever watch the movies where people get their throat slit on the side and blood shoots out? There's two major blood vessels in the side of your neck. There's the carotid artery, and then there's the internal jugular. If you cut the internal jugular, a lot of blood will come out of your neck, and you can actually pass out and die. If you cut the carotid, a lot of blood is going to come out your neck, and you will definitely pass out and die. Now, if you ever watch a movie, you can determine whether or not the carotid was cut or the jugular was cut based on the blood as it comes out of the body. The carotid, because it actually pumps the blood towards the brain, it squeezes on the blood and forces the blood upwards. So if the carotid is cut, the blood should shoot out like this. If the jugular is cut, the jugular is carrying blood from the head and neck region down to the heart. So it doesn't pump the blood, it just drains down. So if the jugular is cut, it should just leak out and pour down onto the shoulder and stuff. Now, what's interesting about animals like the cat is that because they can be predated, usually when they're predated, an animal will bite at the neck. If they bite at the neck, they hit the jugular. Now for us, if our jugular is cut, well that's, if we don't do something really quick, we're gonna die. For the cat, what it does is if the jugular is cut, it will divert the blood over from one side over to the other side. And it does that using this blood vessel right here called the transverse jugular. And so that's what I'm about to reveal right now. Now, you can see here that there's this weird structure sitting underneath the jugular. It looks like a little football. Do you see it right there? And let me kind of free up some of the fascia so you can see a little bit. A little brown football. See that right there? That structure right there is actually the submandibular gland. It is one of 3 glandular structures that secrete saliva in your mouth. The submandibular is one, the parotid is the other, and then there's another one underneath your tongue called the sublingual. The 2 on the outside that you can visibly see are the submandibular, which is here, and then right here, in this area here, I can free it up a little bit.
This neighborhood cat. No, they got Garfield for real.
And right, now this glandular structure right here is the parotid.
I'm gone.
So this would be the parotid right here. That gland right there.
So it's more back towards the ear?
Yes, it's more back towards the ear, and it's sitting right on top of this muscle right here. And this muscle is the masseter. And it's called the masseter because it is the primary muscle associated with mastication. And mastication is the scientific word for chewing. Okay? So that's the masseter. There's the parotid gland. And this right here would be the submandibular gland. Okay? Y'all good so far? All right, good. Okay. Now, actually, can y'all pause for a second?